the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the companies of the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid: the Prudential.
Okay, Bob Costas back in New York along with Quinn Buckner. Tell me, Quinn, what do you expect in the second half of the All-Star game?
I expect the West is going to win. An
uncanny prediction. Boston and Cleveland played a game that mattered today in the playoffs, and Cleveland over the Celtics big time, 101-76. What did Brad Daugherty do? 26 points, 17 rebounds. Nance, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 3 block shots. Cleveland, 20 of 23 from the foul line. The Celtics shot just 5 free throws in the entire game. The Celtics did close to 78-70, but the Cavaliers went on a 23-6 run to close the game and win it by 25 points. Afterwards, Ahmad Rashad talked with Brad Daugherty.
All right, thanks, Bob. Brad, bad ankle, torn up ankle and all, 26 points, 17 rebounds. What a fine game.
I appreciate it. I just had to come out and work real hard. You know, first game's always important, especially, you know, we're playing at home. We have to take advantage of those opportunities, and that's why I played as hard as I could.
You know, a lot of people talked about Reggie Lewis coming in and trying to destroy you guys, but your defense was exceptional today.
Yeah, we really rotated well on the perimeter. Guys inside really switched well. You know, Reggie's a great ball player, and he's gave us trouble throughout the season. And, you know, they beat us a couple times here because of Reggie, so we knew we'd have to get up those particular matchups in design.
Some people thought that just because you got by the first round, that would be enough. I don't think you guys played like that today.
No, we're not content with that. We're definitely elated to get that albatross off our necks from not getting through the first round. But, you know, we have a goal. We want to play a championship game, win a championship. So we're working towards that.
All right, thanks a lot, Brad. Good luck to you in game 2.
Thank you, Ma.
All right, Bob.
Okay, thanks, Ahmad. Reggie Lewis did have 18, but they'll settle for that every game. The Cavaliers be happy to give him that many.
Well, not only that, what they got was a Celtics team that came out a little flat. You know, sometimes you can have too much time off, and I think that might have been the case, if you will, because they just looked a little rusty. But let's give some credit to the Cavaliers. They went to the offensive glass. They got 24 points in the paint in the second half, so they just stayed much more aggressive. And I think indicative of that are the 23 free throws. They made 20 of them, and the Celtics were only 4 or 5. So that says that the Celtics were not nearly as aggressive as they needed to be.
Kevin Gamble had 22 to lead the Celts, but he got 12 of those in the first quarter.
Well, they did a very good job of rotating. That's why I think Brad Daugherty was right on target. One of the concerns I'm sure that Lenny Wilkins had was leaving Gamble and Reggie Lewis open. So when they had to, they would double team, and then they had to get good rotation. Double team Lewis, then rotate and find Gamble. He's the open court shooter. They got it.
Hey, before I forget this, when Dick Enberg was visiting with Magic Johnson, they were popping in from time to time during the first half. One of the things they talked about was Magic playing on the Olympic team. And Magic kind of wags a finger at you guys and says, hey, Buckner, Ferry, Vesey, these guys are supposed to be the insiders. How can they even speculate that I won't be there? For the record, I'm the guy who said, don't even talk about it. He's there.
For the record, you did protect yourself. You didn't pose the question to me, or I'd have protected myself.
That's right. In truth, you were silent.
Magic, we'll see you in Barcelona.
Well, I guess everybody's amused, so let's take a commercial break. And when we come back, Clyde Drexler and Karl Malone will talk about the games they'll be involved in tomorrow. That's as we continue at halftime. Okay, the fourth game between the Jazz and the Clippers, and also game 4 between the Lakers and the Trailblazers set for tomorrow. Let's get a couple of reports beginning at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. And here is the snapper, Steve Jones.
All right, Bob, we're here in the tunnel that leads to the playing floor at the Thomas Mack Center, and Clyde Drexler, the Trailblazers, perhaps believing some of their publicity after winning 2 games convincingly in Portland, seemed to not be ready to play in Los Angeles. True or false?
Well, I think we came out a little lackadaisical in the first half. I think the second half we came out extremely aggressive, and we had some chances to win it. But we just didn't get the job done, and hopefully we'll get it done tomorrow.
This leaves a question mark about this team. When there's business to be be taken care of, they always seem to slip. Can that be shored up as you work your way through these playoffs?
I don't think that's a question, Mark. I just think you can't be perfect. I think you're going to lose some games here and there, but whenever there's business to be taken care of, we usually take care of business. That's the reason we won our division. That's the reason we're up 2-1 in the series. And so you just got to maintain your confidence level and just do the best you can.
Any change in game strategy?
I think we're just going to come out a little bit more aggressive on the defensive end, which is something that we can do with just a better attitude and a little bit more hustle.
All right, well, Bob, Clyde Drexler assures me that this game is going to be played above the rim, a place you wish you could go.
You know, it's just standard garden variety abuse that I've been taking from Snapper Jones since 1974, when I was the young radio voice of the Spirits of St. Louis, and he was a fading, over-the-hill ABA veteran.
Why would you hammer him like that?
Well, just to try to get even. Something I'll never be able to do because he piled up big points on me back in those days, in 74 and 75. What do you think about this game in Vegas tomorrow night?
I agree with what Magic has said. I think the Lakers have got to try to make some kind of home court advantage. I think they sincerely get hurt by not being able to play in the Forum, because the playoffs are about emotion. And the emotion can be derived in a couple of ways. Some you have internally. The part that you can get from the, quote, the external and the fans is critical, and I think the Lakers are going to be missing that.
You know, a good point made by Magic Johnson when he was talking with Dick Enberg. Imperative for the Lakers to have a big first quarter to make that crowd their crowd. And it is true that the Laker games are televised. Chick Hearn's broadcasts are taken into Vegas. So, roughly speaking, that's Laker territory, but they got to give it a push in the first quarter.
No doubt they have to give it a push, but they also have to be able to maintain that through 48 minutes. I think that's as important as getting the good push. If I had my druthers, I'd rather a solid, consistent 48 minutes at a medium level than come out real high and run the risk of falling off at the end of the game.
Okay, the Clippers worked out at Loyola Marymount. Where am I? Over here. Hi, how are you? At Loyola Marymount. They're going to play tomorrow at the Anaheim Convention Center. The Game 4 between the Jazz and the Clippers moved there from the Los Angeles Sports Arena. And here's a report filed by Tom Hammond. Tom?
Bob, earlier today, the Clippers worked out here at Loyola Marymount, and now the Utah Jazz are in for their practice session, and Carl Malone is with us. Carl, have the Jazz been put at a disadvantage having to sit in a hotel room for what will be 7 days by the time the game is played tomorrow?
I don't really think so. I think we had a couple guys had a little nagging injuries and stuff like that, so I think that'll help us. And we're at a point right now where we can put it up in the parking lot. Let's just play and get this thing over with so we can go back home.
So you don't see any problem of getting your mind refocused on basketball?
Oh, absolutely not. You know, we realized what happened was a tragedy and stuff like that, but we also, on the lighter side of the thing, we have to get ready to play a game, and we realize that. We're professional enough to know that when that time comes, we have to stay focused, and we're going to get focused here in a minute.
So much has happened since you won the first 2 games of the series. Is there any sense of lost opportunity involved with this series against the Clippers?
Well, I don't really consider this lost opportunity. We knew coming in at their place they were going to be ready to play, and we said all along they got a great team, and they won that game. So I don't think it's lost opportunity. Sure, we have loved to have won and then went back home before all this happened, but it didn't work out like that, and now we have to come out and get this game tomorrow.
All right, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
That's Carl Malone of the Utah Jazz. They're getting ready for their practice at Loyola Marymount. Bob?
So, they'll play in Anaheim, and unless I miss my guess, this should be the first pro basketball game in Anaheim since the days of the ABA's Anaheim Amigos.
I'm not old enough to know anything about that.
Yeah, right.
Thank you very much. But going to the games here, with Utah, they have the advantage, one, because I think they have more talent. The other is they're playoff experienced, where in the Clippers, they are not. So they're in a different environment instead of their home court trying to win a playoff game, and I just think that's going to be too difficult for them to overcome. I think the Jazz will win it tomorrow.
Before we send it off to a commercial here, give me your recollections of the afternoon we spent in Orlando watching Magic Johnson's performance in the All-Star game.
I was, and I'm deeply touched by having been involved with that, Bob, because I played when Magic played, and periodically you'd catch yourself watching this guy in the course of a game, and to know that potentially was his last All-Star game moved me very much. But as he said, he'll be in Barcelona, so I'll get to see him again.
Okay, we'll get to see the second half with the comments of Dick Enberg and Magic Johnson interspersed throughout right after this commercial break, and they'll start the third quarter right ahead.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the companies of the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid: the Prudential.
And
And then, typical of the man himself, he thanked everyone appropriately in the crowd, your wife, your parents, your teammates. You know, it was, how is it that the people that are so great at something can deliver under that kind of pressure? I mean, you could have missed 3 straight threes, but they all go in.
Well, I think it's just that, you know, when it's center stage, that's where you're used to living. And when you're used to living in that same type of neighborhood, you always want to live there, even if something happens to you in a sense. You know, this has happened to me. I have this virus, but I'm still healthy and strong, and I knew that I could still play. But of course, I never knew, and probably everybody else didn't know that I could perform on that type of level. So it took me by surprise in a sense, but it just felt good. You know, when you're rolling, everything comes together. When you're in shape and you want it, it comes together for you, and that was just my day.
As you look at it again, was there anything that happened after that point, back in the locker room, away from the cameras, that you can share with us now?
Well, what happened was that I have to give a lot of credit to my wife, because that night before she had made me relax. That morning she made me relax in terms of just, hey, just go out and have some fun and play, you know, because you want to do so well, all the critics, this, that, and so she just made me relax and go out and play. Then after the game, some of the guys said, well, can we trade for you?
I'll bet they did. Don Nelson.
So that made me feel good, too. So I think just being out there, being one of the fellas again.
And were you happier for anyone beyond yourself and your wife? Was there someone else that...
I was happy for them because my dad was he on the basketball court, he felt better. And like I said, I thank Tim Hardaway then, I thank him now, because he was the key. And so Don Nelson, everybody that was involved, and especially David Stern, you know, just for letting me participate, and the fans, of course.
You made us all happy. I mean, that was a moment I'll never forget, and I know you're going to share it many times with you and the ones you love. Well, were there more thoroughbreds in Orlando? There were 25 in Orlando, not that many in Louisville today. You'll get that report from Bob Costas.
All right, Dick, and before we do it, let's shift gears and look not back to February, but ahead to tomorrow. And it really was worth a second look, Magic's exploits. But let's look ahead to tomorrow.